Okay. Hey, everybody. Let me send this to a couple people. Let's see. Hey, Rhonda. How you doing, bro? Um, and okay. Rhonda, I have got a juicy story today. Okay. Um, it is happening in real time before our eyes. I cannot wait to tell you guys about it. I'm not going to be able to tell you no names, but it is. Hey, Candy Cape Cod DC, how you doing, girl? Thanks for joining the live show. Let me put my title in. Let me put. See your dad today. Oh, that's nice. I need to go back up to Boston to see my dad. Pass the trademark. Okay. So, if you did not see the title of today's show, but we're going to get to that later. Y'all know I like to wait till about 8:05 to give people some time to come on into the room. If there's anybody you want to join this live, hey girl, if there's anybody that you want to join this live, please let them know. Y'all know the deal. Anybody who's interested in business, anybody who just is nosy about people's business, those who like to hear about celebrity gossip, all those people. This is for you. Okay. Oh, okay. Before we get started today, I want to let y'all know that there's not going to be a show next week. I have my final surgery. Woohoo! They're finally, I'm getting my girls done. It is the final reconstructive surgery after my mastectomy ordeal. So I'm very excited about that. That's happening next Wednesday. So send a prayer up for your girl, but I will not be live on Wednesday. Okay. Today I have stories about a local DMV brand battle that I want to talk to you guys about. My coffee lovers, I have a story for you. Thank you, Rhonda. Those of you who are fans of Goop, what's that lady's name? Gwyneth Paltrow's company. There's a story about her. Pharrell and Chad Hugo from the Neptunes are fighting, y'all. Okay. Pharrell and Chad Hugo from the Neptunes are fighting. What else is an interesting one? This lady is praying that DC doesn't sue her, DC Comics. Yeah. Okay. So there the title story for tonight, I really want to, have the most people watching because this involves our community and I think it's important for all of us to see it. So I'm going to let you guys decide. Do you think that the local story, the DMV story, should that be the first story, or should I, kind of warm it up with a couple of shorter stories to allow people time to come on in as we wait for the last minute? Let me know what you guys think is better, because we got plenty of stories tonight. Okay. Last week I tried to do fly by the seat of my pants and it did not work. So your girl came prepared for you. I'm silly. Warm it up. Okay. All right. Okay. So it's 8:05. It's not 8:05 yet. So once 8:05, short. I don't know what that means, Rhonda. Once 8:05 hits, we're I'm going to do my intro. Send this out to your people. Let them know that I'm on. Like, oh, I'm getting a muscle, y'all. I've been working out. Y'all see that little muscle right there? You see it? I know you see it. Right there. Mm. All right. So we'll do a couple warm-up stories. But okay, so it's 8:05. Let's get started, okay? Welcome. Thank you, Rhonda. What's today? Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to NPL Legal Dish. This is my weekly broadcast where I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. If this is your first time seeing my face or attending this program and you're like, who am I? I'm Natalie Pierre Lewis. I'm the host of the show and I'm the owner and operator of NPL Consulting LLC, a business formation firm. What that means is I help people like yourself get your business paperwork together. So things like making sure you have your articles of incorporation and, with the state, getting your EIN numbers and DUNS numbers, making sure you have contracts for clients and partners, so you don't get left holding the bag, protecting your intellectual property, which is going to be a big, big story tonight, helping you uh, streamline your hiring and training practices, and much more. If you're wondering why I'm qualified to help you do these things, I am a licensed attorney. I have been one for almost 2 decades. I've started multiple businesses for myself and others, both online and offline. I've had many careers in the realms of entrepreneurship, the law, education, hospitality, and administrative support. And most important, I am very passionate about making business and legal education as accessible to everyone as possible. Not everybody has the time, the money, or the desire to go to business school or to law school, but a lot of you have amazing business ideas. And if you're going to be successful in business, there are just some things that you need to know. There's no way around it. So that's why I'm here. Okay. So if you are, thinking about starting a business, or you've got a side hustle, high monos detox, or you've got a side hustle that you want to turn into a full-time hustle, or you've been operating a business, but you just, you ain't been right. The paperwork just ain't been there. I want to help you with all that. You can book a free 15-minute consultation with me if you are a first-time client. You can go to linktr.ee/nplconsultingfirm.com. If you're not a first-time client, you can book a Talk to Me Tuesday session where you get 30 minutes for $35. As well, I have a multitude of video trainings and ebooks that we can discuss. Okay. Hi, the table 420. All right. So that is what I do, during the day. Now let's get here, why we're here tonight. The reason why we're here, this is how the show works. So I pick stories from the news, stories from life, stories I see on the internet, stories that are happening in real time, stories that you guys sent to me in my DMs. And I choose the ones that have lessons that we can learn as business owners, and we talk about them. Okay. We pull those lessons out and we talk about them. So this is a time for you to get involved. This is a time for you to ask questions and give comments, as long as they are um respectful. We are not cussing here. We are not calling anyone names here. We are not playing the blame game. This is a space of learning. Okay. All right. So yeah. So that is, I think I've given you guys my full spiel. All right, so we are going to get started tonight with a couple of stories before we get to the main event. Okay. Okay. Music lovers, if you have heard of the Neptunes, the music duo, the Neptunes, please give me a planet emoji. If you have heard of the Neptunes, give me a planet emoji. You may not know them as the Neptunes, but I'm pretty sure you know the name Pharrell Williams. Okay. Um, Pharrell Williams is one half of the Neptunes duo. They are behind, big hits like I'm a hustler, baby. Ooh, I just want you to know. Like, they did the beat for that. They make beats and they make music, right? They were producing Khalees. There's just what's that other song? Um, Lemon song, the Lemon song. All right. Thank you, Kenny K. Crowd DC. Anyway, we have known the Neptunes for at least 2 to 3 decades, right? And we have always known the Neptunes to consist of two people, Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo. Now, most of us know who Pharrell Williams is. He's often being interviewed. He does a lot of fashion stuff. People were calling him a vampire at one time because they were like, he don't age, whatever, right? And then Chad Hugo, he is the quieter of the pair. I don't really see him in the media much. But anyway, the name the Neptunes is a trademark name. It is absolutely trademarked. And according to Chad Hugo, he and Pharrell have, contracts that say that they are to split everything that has to do with the name Neptunes 50-50, meaning in any venture if they're doing clothing, if they're doing music, if they're doing movies, if it has the Neptunes in it, yes, the Asian guy, it needs to uh, include the both of them, Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo. Okay. Well, Chad Hugo is filing a lawsuit against Pharrell because he said Pharrell is trying to cut him out of um, some lucrative deals that are happening with Neptunes and some things that Pharrell is trying to do. Apparently, Pharrell has filed 3 trademarks for the phrase the Neptunes in different categories, and he has not included Chad Hugo on those applications. Okay, so Chad Hugo says that Pharrell is trying to cut him out of what is his and what's going on. So we don't know what these trademark applications are. We could probably look it up, but I'm sure the Neptunes have tons of trademarks. But can we think of a plausible reason why Pharrell would file these trademarks and not include Chad Hugo? Is there any reason that we can think that is not, aside from him trying to cheat the man, is there any plausible reason? Is there any good excuse as to why Pharrell has not included Chad Hugo on these applications? I'm sorry if I'm sweating, y'all. My doctors have me on some meds and they just had me sweating. Okay. So I'm on my Whitney Houston right now. But can we think of a single reason if Pharrell is trying to expand the Neptunes brand, why would he keep his business partner who he has been with for at least over 2 decades? Why wouldn't he inform him? Canna Cape Cod said he thinks he's the better half of the group. Well, you can still think that you're the better half of the group, but if our agreement says run me my 50%, you got to run me my 50%. So what reason? Hi, Monte B 3300. So okay, he's more valuable. Okay, let's just say yes. Pharrell is more well known than Chad Hugo. He's more popular. Dot 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 dot. But at the end of the day, when you are filing that paperwork, you have an agreement with this man that y'all are splitting everything that has to do with that Neptune's mark 50-50. So why ain't his name on the paperwork for these 3 applications? What happened? Right? So I think Chad Hugo is asking himself and asking Pharrell these same questions. So there could be a legal battle for the Neptune's name. Now, Pharrell himself, apparently he's saying he doesn't know anything about what's going on, this lawsuit or whatever. I think that is a lie. I think Pharrell was feeling himself and thought that, he could just basically swagger jack the Neptunes. Like, I don't know if y'all remember, but Khalees came out a while ago and said that Pharrell and Chad had stole all her like royalties or you know all her rights to her music basically, and she's just basically had to eat that over the years. And I feel like Pharrell might be trying to do the same thing to Chad Hugo, but Chad Hugo said that's mine too. We built this together, my friend. And he said, you gonna put my name on them applications. So this is not just a case of trademarks. This is a case of maintaining your contract. This is why you need contracts, even with people who you are close to. Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo have been business partners for at least 20 years. And this is happening. This is why you need contracts with your business partners. All right. So, do we understand that? Do we have any questions about Pharrell and Chad Hugo before we move into our second story? Anybody? Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Okay, so our second story. How many of you guys have heard of Goop? How many of you guys have heard of Goop? It is a brand started by Gwyneth Paltrow. That's the brand that she sold that candle where she said it smells like her coochie. She sells all sorts of weird stuff on there, right? Anybody ever heard of Goop? If you heard of Goop, Give me a G in the comments, okay? Um, okay. So Goop sells all types of products. They don't have, one lane. Gwyneth Paltrow just finds stuff that she like and she sells it. Okay. Um, Recently, Goop has started to venture into selling sexual health products, and they are selling it under the name Goop. And the tagline is "Good period, clean period, Goop." Okay. Now these are what is it? Lubes and ointment things, all sorts of things that you're going to put on and in your body, right? And again, they're sexual health products, and they're calling it Good Clean Goop. The problem is there is a company out here called Good Clean Love. Good Clean Love, okay? They also make sexual health products, and they've been making sexual health products for only 20 years, for over 20 years. They have a patented method of how they make their products. And they have something they call biomatch technology. All right. And everything is trademarked. They have Good Clean Love trademarked. So it's the name of their brand. Goop is trying to sell their sexual health products with the tagline Good Clean Goop. But Good Clean Love says the Goop products contain very harsh chemicals. That's exactly the problem, Rhonda. You have Good Clean Love out here that makes sexual health products, and then you have Goop that is getting into the sexual health products industry and calling it Good Clean Goop. Good Clean Love has been out here for 20 years, but they're a small company, right? Goop has enough money to basically flood the market with their product and dilute Good Clean Love's trademark. So they have taken Goop to court. They sent a cease and desist to Goop. And another thing they said was that some time ago, Goop had requested a sample of their lube to see if they wanted to sell it on the site. They never got back to Good Clean Love. And then all of a sudden, you're selling sexual health products. So, Good Clean Love is taking Goop to court. Now, who do you think should win in this battle? Okay. Good Clean Love, they've been in business for 20 years. Goop got that money, that Gwyneth Paltrow name and bringing that money, right? Good again, 20 years versus a few years, but Goop got that money. Who is right? Who is right here? Do you think that there's a possibility of confusion? And obviously we do, because Rhonda just said, isn't that the same thing? Good, clean love, good, clean Goop. We've talked about trademark bullies before. A lot of times these companies, they want to go after smaller companies that don't have as much capital so they can just kind of use their money to push them out of the way. This is why it is important to protect your intellectual property early, so that if a larger company comes and tries to jack your brand, you can go to the court and say, hey, I already had this secured. These people come trying to take my stuff. You need to tell them no. And so Good Clean Love, they're probably going to have to go to court with Goop, or they might settle. Do you guys think that they're going to have to court, or do you think that Goop will try to settle with them? Rhonda said Good Clean Love. Good Clean Love. So do you think that Goop might try to settle with them, or is Goop gonna try and run them out, or like basically just run up the case and try to exhaust their financial resources? And also keep in mind, Goop, they have this reputation of being, a stand-up company. You don't want to be, they said saddle. What is that? Oh, settle. You don't want to be seen as, you're supposed to be this ethical company and you're seen like pushing around a smaller brand, right? Okay. All right. So we're gonna hold out hope for Good Clean Love. All right. Canna Cape Cod, are you here? Is Canna Cape Cod here? Because we're about to get to our key story of the evening. That's cool. And I need you to be here so that you can, back me up just in case I get something wrong. Okay. Who's on here now? Canada, Cape Cod. All right. Hello, Julian speaks. Okay. All right. So tonight is a very exciting night because I'm talking about a story that is happening in real time in my community. Before I start this story, I want to let y'all know I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't really know any of these people personally. Like, we're not friends. I am just reporting stuff that I have found on the internet. Nothing is made up. Everything that I am saying, you can find on Beyonce's internet. Okay. So if you're in the DC area and you know who I'm talking about, I'm not talking ish. Everything that I have found is free and open to the public on the internet as long as you know where to look. Okay. I'm going to use, um, I'm not going to use the parties' names because, again, I don't want people in my inbox and I live in this place. Uh, so we are going to get things together. But this is a real time example of why you need to protect your intellectual property early. Okay. And I'm going to share a little bit about my life, a little bit. Don't ask no follow up questions. Okay. All right. So, um, in DC, there is recreational cannabis is legal. It has been legal since I want to say 2018, 2017, 2018. Um, maybe a little before. I don't remember exactly what year, before the 20s hit. Um, and when that happened, you had a lot of brands that came up, okay? And you had a lot of people who became leaders of the DC cannabis scene. Okay, so recreational cannabis became legal in 2016, and you had people who came out as leaders in the DC cannabis scene, okay? Um, there is one particular influencer in the DC cannabis scene. And one thing I need to another thing I need to say about the DC cannabis scene is it is pretty tight, it's pretty small, and everyone knows each other. If you're out in these recreational cannabis streets, okay. So there is a cannabis influencer in the DC area. They have been, using a particular phrase for their business ventures since at least 2016. Um, they're well known in the community. When you hear that phrase, you know it's their function. And everybody knows that it belongs to this influencer. Okay. Cut to this, and again, this person has been using this phrase since at least there's visual proof since 2016. They say they've been using it as early as 2005, but we know definitely that they've been using it since at least 2016. They're known in the community. People know this belongs to them. This is their phrase. Nobody in the DC community, nobody in the DMV cannabis community was touching that because they knew it was hers or theirs. Sorry, I've already messed it up. Anyway. Okay, so we have described this person. Now there's another entity in the DC cannabis community. This is a local dispensary. They're pretty well known in the community too as a dispensary. Apparently they throw, events and things as well, but their main function in DC is as a dispensary. Okay. Now, in January of this year, January 27th, 2024, this dispensary filed a trademark for the influencer's phrase. Okay. Now, again, this influencer has been using this phrase since at least 2016. They claim they've been using it since 2005. Okay. Either way, they've been using it for a long time. The dispensary claims that they have been using it since January of last year, this same phrase, okay? now, hearing these facts, hearing these facts, who should have ownership of this phrase? Hearing these facts. Now, as you guys give me your answers, this influencer, said on social media that the phrase was trademarked and they've been using it and it's theirs, and and that the law is on their side. Okay, so me, because I'm nosy, I went and I did my investigations. Now, again, I said the DC cannabis community is very small. I know this. A contract for what, Rhonda? A contract for what? What would there be a contract for? Now, again, the DC cannabis community is small, but everybody doesn't work together. Everybody's not together. People know about each other, but you're not necessarily working in the same space. So this influencer was doing, events and functions under their name. And as far as I can see, this influencer has no connection to the dispensary. Basically, the people at the dispensary saw her phrase, liked it, and decided to trademark it. So, what's the question we need to ask ourselves about the influencer? We need to ask ourselves, does she have her trademark in place so she can go and fight for her property? Now, again, I went and I did my investigations. All of this is available on the internet. You can go to the USPTO website and look up these trademark applications. I looked up the application, the screenshot that she posted on the internet. And while she did file a trademark application, she did not file a trademark application until March 15th of this year. Now, again, I told you guys this influencer has been using this phrase at least with visual proof since 2016. They claim they've been using it since 2005. And this is on their trademark application. The local dispensary said, we've only been using this phrase since January 2023, but they filed in January. The influencer has been using it since, let's say, 2016 and filed in March. Who should get the trademark? Because usually the process of trademarking, it's the first to file, right? And when you are fighting for a trademark that you don't already own, that you don't officially own, not only, you have to prove to the USPTO that you actually own this. This is why it's important for you to trademark your stuff early, because this person, they've been in the community, they've been thriving for okay, yes, okay, those are two great distinctions. Ethically, based on morals, who's right and who's wrong, and then legally, who's right and who's wrong. Rhonda, how I need you to expound on your questions, Rhonda. All right. So the influencer, while they had been using the phrase actively, never bothered to trademark the phrase. They did not trademark the phrase until after someone who is in the process of attempting to steal it from under their nose. And you have this new brand that filed 2 months ahead of her. How do you do both legally? You can't, Rhonda. Ethically, the influencer. Canna Cape Cod says ethically, the influencer is right. Right. They've been using this phrase for a long time. But legally, in the eyes of the law, the first person to file for the trademark usually is the first to get it. You got to show proof of how you're using it, and it has to be a proper use. Now, both of these parties have attempted to trademark in podcasts and clothing and events and things like that. And I'm interested to see how this will transpire. The influencer, they said that they are taking this to the court of public opinion as well as the legal courts. But so since they said they're taking it to the court of public opinion, I want to know what you guys think. District Elixir said first filer and proper execution wins in the eye of the law. But what if the influencer can prove, hey, I have been conducting business under this phrase for several years. I'm known in the community. Do you think that that should matter? What do you think? Remember a few weeks ago, hey Thomas, remember a few weeks ago we talked about Bow Wow and Jermaine Dupri's daddy. Jermaine Dupri's daddy was putting on the Scream Tour for over 20 years, but never bothered to trademark the name Scream Tour. And now Bow Wow and his cohorts have started their own Scream Tour and have filed a trademark application for the phrase. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot count on your community to hold you down. You cannot count on your reputation to hold you down in these intellectual property streets. You need to be protecting your intellectual property. I don't care who they are, your mother, your brother, your pastor, your husband. You need to protect your intellectual property because you never know who is trying to steal from right under you. This cannabis influencer has put in over a decade of work to build up this phrase and to have it associated with them, so much so that other people who follow them were tagging the dispensary and telling them what they were doing was wrong. The dispensary has deleted all those comments and blocked all those people and is continuing to use this phrase. Legally, they're not doing anything wrong. Is it messed up morally? Is it messed up as a community member in the DC cannabis community? Absolutely. But there is 100% nothing illegal about what they are doing. What's going to have to happen now is this cannabis influencer is going to have to go to court probably, if that's the route they want to take, and go fight for their name. That's going to require hiring an attorney, which is going to require some funds, and we don't know what people's situation is. So this is just a very real, very present, very on time reminder, guys, that yes, the cannabis industry, it's new, it's wild, it's sexy, it's all that, right? But the same rules of business apply. Don't come here talking about loyalty and respect and all this stuff. The courts do not care. Go get your trademarks. Go get your copyrights. Do y'all hear me? Okay. If Thomas said everyone doesn't share the same morals, but we all have to follow the same laws. Absolutely. So again, we can now, listen, this dispensary is wrong. The dispensary is wrong for what they did, and they know they're wrong because they're deleting people's comments and blocking them, but morally wrong. But legally, they're not doing anything wrong, and this is why you need to protect your intellectual property. Canna Cape Cod, do you want to come on and give us a testimony about your intellectual property? I would really like you to be a living example to people so that people can understand how it works when you're doing it right. You don't have to, but if you want to. All right. And if that influencer, sees this broadcast, this is not shade, this is not hate. All of this information I have just been observing, and I'm just asking questions and giving advice to my viewers using this example. Kenny K, call you here? You want to come on? That's okay. All right. So, yeah. So, good luck to that influencer. We'll see what happens. Okay. So before we move on to our next story, we're gonna reset for a little bit. If you've just tuned in, you're watching NPL Legal Dish. This is my weekly broadcast where I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. If you are in the startup phase of your business, or you're looking to, ramp up your business this year, I am a licensed attorney who loves helping entrepreneurs and creatives. Go to linktr.ee/NPL consulting firm and book yourself a free 15-minute consultation today. Okay. All right. Um, Next story we are talking about my coffee lovers. Give me a coffee emoji, some type of coffee emoji. Um, so these days I mostly just drink iced coffee at home, but when I'm out, well, when it was cool to go to Starbucks before, they supported genocide, my go-to order was a iced brown sugar, no, iced brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso. Oh, so delicious. Um, Thank you, Rhonda. Okay. So, coffee drinkers, we have a battle brewing uh in the, I don't know, Midwest. Where's Wisconsin? The Midwest? Yeah, the Midwest. Okay. All right. So, there is a coffee company out in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Um they're called Express Coffee. Express Coffee, um Express Coffee got the rights to a brand of coffee called Steep and Brew in about 2018, 2019. So they've been selling Steep and Brew coffee for about a little over a little over 5 years, right? Express Coffee, located in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. In Ohio, Brecksville, Ohio, to be exact, there is a coffee shop called Caruso's Coffee. Okay. In 2006, Caruso's Coffee had a deal with another coffee company in Nevada. They came together, and they started a company called Generations. Okay. Um, in 2018, Generations bought Steep and Brew. Remember, Steep and Brew is what Express Coffee is selling today. Generations is Caruso's Coffee and the Nevada company together. They had Generations. 2018, Generations, no, 2018, they bought Steep and Brew and they disbanded Generations. So Caruso's Coffee and the Nevada company, they said, we're no longer doing Generations. We're not working together anymore, but they bought Steep and Brew. Nevada ended up keeping the name Steep and Brew. Okay. Caruso's Coffee, again, they had joined with Nevada in a venture called Generations. Generations broke up. Nevada kept Steep and Brew. So Caruso's Coffee was no longer supposed to sell Steep and Brew. Caruso's Coffee is still selling Steep and Brew, right? And not only that, they tried to register a trademark for it, even though the Nevada Coffee Company had already sold the rights to Steep and Brew to Express Coffee. So now Express Coffee is suing Caruso's Coffee for violating their trademark, and they are suing for $2 million per mark. Ladies and gentlemen, when you have the rights to a trademark, you get to decide who uses it. When you no longer have the rights to that trademark, meaning you have sold your rights, or if somehow they have been, legally taken away from you, you no longer have the right to use that trademark. Like, I remember there was a story. Somebody was running a Dunkin' Donuts, but the Dunkin' Donuts was really nasty. And the Dunkin' Donuts people said, you can no longer call yourself a Dunkin' Donuts because you're not upholding our standards. And they still tried to use they still tried to operate as Dunkin' Donuts, and they went to court and they had to take down the Dunkin' Donuts side. son. This is the same thing here. Caruso's Coffee, you were selling Steep and Brew before when you were working with Nevada Company. You sold that off when y'all disbanded, so you no longer have the right to it. They're still selling it on a site called Steep and Brew. So Caruso's Coffee has a site called Steep and Brew where they're selling this coffee, and they even tried again to register this trademark. So Caruso's Coffee, obviously, like they either are misinformed as to their rights when it comes to Steep and Brew, or they just don't care because you gave up those rights when you split your business with the Nevada company. So understand that when someone is giving you license to use a name, you can use it all you want, but once that license is done, it's done. You don't have a permanent association with it. Okay? All right. Next story we are talking about. How many of y'all like to golf? If we have any golf fans here, is there a golf mode? Give me a golf ball or something. I heard Tiger's coming out with a line of golf clothing. I've never played real golf. I've done mini golf. But did you know, well, not did you know, but copyrights protect a number of things. And it protects a couple of unusual things. One of the things that copyrights protects is architecture and boat hulls, the designs of boats, which I think is really weird. And recently they have added another third thing. As of now, golf course designs are now available for copyright protection. So the way that a golf course is designed, the course, where the holes are, where I guess the main house is, all of that stuff, the way a golf course is designed can now be copyrighted. Do you guys think that that's important? Do you guys think that that's important? The design of a golf course, so much so that we need to change copyright law for that. We got problems with AI. We got problems with NFTs. We got so many intellectual property problems. And y'all just protected golf courses with copyright. This is what y'all are doing with our taxpayer money. Um, I'm sorry. That story just really kind of pissed me off because of all the things we have going on in the world of copyrights. This is literally the last thing that you need to worry about. Okay? Yeah, exactly. How many of y'all been to a golf course in the last year outside of a wedding? But yeah, so but for those of you who like golf, or if you are a person who is like, I don't know, a civil engineer, if you design a golf course, you can get it copyrighted. Okay. Um Last story I'm going to share with you has to do with this is very funny. Okay. So we all know that there is, parity and fair use in the intellectual property world. If you use and that there have been a lot of lawsuits about, what constitutes fair use in a parody and satire, right? Companies have sent cease and desists, things like that. But what do you do when a company doesn't send a cease and desist, but they're just like, hey, girl, we have concerns, right? So there is a woman named Vera Drew. Vera Drew, she wrote a play called The People's Joker. And in this play, the main character is a version of the Joker who is trans. Okay, so she makes the Joker trans. Now, Warner Brothers did not send a cease and desist. They did not send her a cease and desist. But they did tell her that they are concerned about false correlation between Warner Brothers Joker and the Joker in her play, right? Now she is scheduled to debut this play at uh some, festival where they do stuff like that. And she's basically scared. She's basically just scared. She's like, I don't want these people to sue me. And to the point that basically she came to an agreement with Warner Brothers that there would only be one showing of this play, The People's Joker. She's only going to get to show it one time, and then she can't show it again. So I'm very interested to see if there will be an evolution of this story. But look at that. Even the idea that she could be sued by Warner Brothers is having her, very on edge, because these companies don't play. She's one woman. She does not want to be sued by this multinational corporation that could buy her whole life. So she's going to have her one, showing of The People's Joker, even though she said this is not associated with Warner Brothers. I don't have no business with them people. I was just trying to write a play. But she's going to be able to show it one time and one time only. And this is why, when people are on top of their intellectual property, they can, kind of guide things. Because if Warner Brothers was not on their P's and Q's, she might have gotten a movie deal or something. I do kind of feel bad for her. I do. But this is the world of intellectual property. We're working with facts, not feelings. Okay. All right. So yeah, so those were the stories that I wanted to share with you guys tonight. Thank you guys so much for participating, for sitting with me, and dealing with my shenanigans. I really enjoy sitting with you guys. I will not be here next week again. I'm having my final surgery. Woohoo! Can't wait. So we will reconvene in 2 weeks. Again, take care of yourselves, guys. If you take nothing from this live, I want you to protect your intellectual property. Please do not count on people's integrity or respect for your brand or hard work. People out here don't care how hard you work. People out here don't have no integrity. People out here are just looking to come up. So you need to protect yourself as much as possible. Okay. So this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Have a wonderful evening. And if you have any questions, or stories that you hear you want me to talk about on here, drop them in my DMs. I want to hear from you. All right. Have a great night. Bye.